Hi, I'm Tony Stefano, Hillside Christmas Tree Farm. We have begun pruning our spruce trees and our fir. They're all ready. Today is July 29th. And I don't know if you've seen our picture of our spruce trees and things like that. There's a road that runs right down the center, and that's just this one row over right here. I've already pruned that half. And as I was coming up to trees that had the rings on them, I kind of realized I didn't do a follow-up video. So before I did this half, I wanted to come through and we'll take a little walk and see how these rings worked out. If you remember, the point of the rings was to bring anything that was up above the 45 competing as a leader, try to bring them down and turn that into a nice full crown. So if we remove this ring now, everything's all kind of hardened off, should stay. And just like that, it does. So now we can, come through, get our knife and our line and trim them as needed. So let's go for a little walk and check out the other ones and see how they look. And then we're going to gather these up because, as I mentioned earlier, I was a little lazy and left them on and hit them with the knife. And these things are from Europe, so they weren't easy. They're not easy to come by. So I'll put links down below. And yeah, let's go for a little walk. All right, for this video, we're just going to take the rings off. I'm going to hang them on the trees, and then I'll come back and pick them up and get them in the cart. So again, we see what this tree looks like. We'll take that off. And there it is without the ring. So it's looking pretty solid, looking exactly what I was hoping for. A couple that were done here. See kind of the crook, but next year that'll fill in. These trees are, I think we're gonna hang on to them for 2 more years before we open this field up. We do have some good variety in heights, so that should be fantastic. What I like about these baby blue variety is the consistency in color versus the regular Colorado blues. This one here. See a nice kind of full top. After the spruce, we'll take a quick ride over to the fir, and I'll kind of show you what happens with those. With the fir, they tend to maintain their kind of leader dominant trait. So what they'll do is they'll kind of turn up like that. And I'll show you a couple here shortly. So yeah, this is the spruce field. Like I said, this side, I have already given them the knife, keeping them pretty tight. Let's go look at some that are after I've already pruned them. So how was I doing it? So these first 2 rows I was coming down. So this one here would have had a ring on it, kind of leaving the leaders a little longer. Stretch these out. We have, good density, keeping shape. I did notice the bottoms were getting pretty fat, so I really brought those in, and we just kind of worked down the row. So yeah, that's an update for the spruce, and we'll head over to the fir. All right, so we're heading over to our Canadian fir field, and as I mentioned, a leader wants to be a leader. So we can see that this guy, timing is pretty critical on this. You got to be early enough that the branch is still soft and pliable, but not so early that when you apply the rings, and you're kind of pushing and bringing that stuff down, it's not breaking off. So, this one maybe, we'll bring it down a little bit when we prune it, and maybe next year it'll still try to maintain its leader juice. Hopefully cutting the leader off, we'll get rid of that terminal bud and maybe lose its idea and keep the leader that I selected. There are times when I select a leader, put a stake on it and everything like that, but something else comes up. Nature's going to do what it wants to do. You do your best to kind of guide it and make it efficient, but the tree knows what it wants to do. So we'll take a walk and look for a couple. We'll take a walk and look through a couple others. Here's another good example, right? We do have the flatness we're after. We'll take this ring off and we'll see that it'll stay that way. And hopefully when we nip all those down, we'll maintain the density of the tree, and we won't get anything that will next year will turn into that. So we're going to avoid that, and we'll see what that looks like. All right, we'll just kind of walk through, right? We got some doubles that we're going to have to nip out. My dad said he's going to start pruning these, I think, next. Again, it seems a little earlier, more kind of late July. Usually I think we're in August and September when we do this, but that's the season. It's here. We see that they're all ready. They're kind of wooded. We see the terminal buds are forming. And again, with this one, they're still wanting to push up and be in charge. So they're going to stay without the ring, and we will trim those back because we don't want multiple leaders. I think this is kind of the size, right? These are, 6 foot kind of to here, but this is kind of the crucial time to maintain that last couple years for the structure, and should be pretty simple. Kind of got another one there. So, yep. So that's that. That's the fir. I'm going to get these rings out of here because Dad's going to, like I said, prune these next. And there is no need to, have him damage these things either. So I'm going to walk around, gather these out, and leave the ones in the spruce because he's going to leave the spruce for me. And yeah, I think that'll do it. I'll put links to where I'm getting this stuff down in the description below. The company's called HD 2412, and they have the trainers, the rings, and several other kind of nifty training guides that you might be interested. So check it out. All right, as I mentioned, I talked about I'm going to walk through these and gather up all the rings, and I figured why not just film it all so you see what every single one looks like. So we're just going to go for it. Got the camera on my forehead because I have all the cool gear for all this stuff. What I've been doing is putting the clips kind of on the rings like that to store, and then I keep them in the shipping box. So we're just going to walk through here real quick, gather up all these tree rings so my dad does not hit any with a knife. I think one fell off a tree and I saw it on the tractor, so I think he hit one with a mower too. So like I said, let's not waste these. It is very muggy today. There is no wind at all. Rained yesterday. I lost power at my house for a couple days. Luckily, I wasn't there. We were actually my wife and I were at the Michigan Christmas Tree Association meeting earlier this week. A lot of good information there. Saw a couple people that both from the Real Tree Christmas Tree Growers, Real Tree Farmers group and Great Lakes Growers group. It's always fun to put names to faces, and also some people that are really enjoying the channel. So thank you for coming up to me and introducing yourself, and your support means a lot. Glad this is helping you. I enjoy doing the videos, but it definitely takes a lot of time to film it, edit it. But hey, I do like it. So I'm kind of walking through that area where the soil, right? I was doing the soil. Diagnosing soil problems. These are the canaan that the pond is right over there, and this is the backfill. So we got a lot of thistle, real heavy, and it looks like there's a little bit better color. Even Dad was kind of saying something. He thinks it's working. So we'll see what it looks like going into the fall, and I want to pull more soil samples. Need to get those done because next couple of years we're going to open this up, and we can't have them looking crappy. So they're definitely not as full as what our other trees are at this age, but hey, I'm still learning this stuff too. So yeah, like that's not going to get saved. It'll probably turn into a top tree this year. Like that guy, right? So he's still curving up because he wants to be in charge, right? He's not, it's not going to work. We'll have to trim him out. Whew. Now we're walking in the fields that we planted in 17, 18, 19. This is 3 years of planting for us. We were doing about 1,000 trees a year planting at this time. And there's kind of a low spot right there. You see that nothing grew. It's where the water collects. Can't win it all. This one looks like it worked out real well. We'll have to take that out. But this one looks like it'll hold up well. So, I guess the point of that little thing earlier was the trees are coming. In here we tried some Fralsum, the Korean, Fraser Balsam Cross. I can't tell them apart. I think these are those. A little darker than the balsam up there. Then I tried, this was the last little bit of Korean that we put in the field. You can see the size difference, survival rate much lower. This was the last year we did that. They're now in the exotic field. So like I kind of mentioned, our core fir rotation, our balsam, Canaan, and concolor. May try some of the Korean balsam cross. I heard those are doing well, so we'll get some of those, kind of diversify our plantings. Maybe add some of the exotics and in the main field. All right, so I think that's all the rings, and yeah, thanks again for watching. Hopefully, you know, like I said, I'll put the links down below, and I'll share that information with you. If you like it, go ahead and get some. What you like to see, nice little ladybug in there. All right, thanks. Happy shearing.